making all kinds of gains. All kinds.
This week's chapter of One Piece is for sure better than last week. You know why?
Tell me.
One word. Gains. Making all kinds of gains.
All kinds.
When we see the Straw Hats in action, minus Chopper, because Chopper...
Enemy spotted.
He makes merchandise gains off screen. That's undeniable. He will bring in the dollary dues, all right? He is the breadwinner of the entire Straw Hat crew. But when I'm seeing Luffy, when I'm seeing Zoro, kind of, I'm not trying to, King, I'll explain later. But when I see Sanji and Nami and Usopp pulling out some nice stops after I get an island, oh yeah. These are the post-arc gains. They're way more apparent that we see in this chapter, let's say compared to the beginning of Wano Country. Because I've been someone that has touted the good word of Urashima in Wano Country. Why is that? I thought it was a very clear sign that folks were missing when it came to Luffy's improvement on his skills, where against Urashima, Luffy was able to expand his arm into Gear 3 without the need of using air. And in this chapter, at the beginning of Elbaf, which honestly could be an arc just as long as Wano Country, we're seeing Luffy use mini Gear 4s. Excuse me? The Kong gun, the very same thing that he used against Don Quixote. He miniaturified. Wait, is that even a word? No, probably not. He miniaturized, kind of. Where, actually, probably not. It's probably the same Gear 4, but he's doing it in base form. Base Luffy, his regular physique, but he cocks it back. And it's almost like a squash, where you have that one bigger section, then it gets even bigger, and then it sinks into his forearm like a proper Gear 4 attack. It was 2 chapters ago when you had people say that was Luffy's Gear 4 attack, when it was him, Zoro, and Sanji combo on the Big Cat for an old school Alabasta combo. Luffy said Gear 4 at that point in time, even though the attack was a Gear 3 attack. It was clearly a Gear 3 attack when he said Elephant Gun. Elephant Gun has always been Gear 3. So that was probably an issue that the editors did themselves, or ordered themselves, where he mistaken the Gear 3 move for the Gear 4 move. But this is a true Gear 4 attack. That's the Kong gun. This move would send Doflamingo packing the same... Dude! Luffy! Low diffs! He low diffs! Don Quixote Doflamingo. Of course, as he should. Because when you start getting to that Emperor status, Zoro's right. You're an Emperor now. Shape up, chums up, let the world know where you stand. Now, we now know where Road stands. Road, I'm actually very surprised. Out of all the options when it comes to a giant as to who this person could have been, the fake sun god, Road was not on my radar at all. But then they mentioned Hydruden, or Hyroden, whatever his name is. I was like, hold on, time out, do we know this person? And you'll see my reaction if you didn't see, then you should see it, where? First and foremost, on my Cole Requiem YouTube channel. Link in the box below for that, and of course the entire stream with the post discussion on where? My twitch.tv channel. All links in the box below. And if you do support your boy's content at large, hit your boy that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to join the notification squad. But Road, if you look at his fit in the cover story, and then you look at the design of the fake sun god last chapter, they got the same boots. I didn't even think that was a possibility. Apparently, the one cat that did was Tekking, so shouts to Tekking. So Tekking must have probably gone through most of the Giants' fits and then compared them to the fake sun god fit, and then, hold on, oh, the boots. They have the same boots. They have the same, so yeah. Oh, KingOfLightning, he said it was a female. I did. Listen, I didn't know that Road was gonna be the option here. Shouts to the Okama way, whether it's gigantified or not.
Okama way!
If he is what he is right now, he's on that Horty Jones activity. He's a giantess. Yeah, these pathetic humans. He's not siding with Hyroden when it comes to being a part of the Stride Grand Fleet. He's not about that lifestyle, okay? He views humans as weaker, inferior, and honestly, I don't blame him, because honestly, he had a giant crow The Sunny Go, on paper, is supposed to be just as large as a Marine battleship. Around 56 meters tall, where a Marine battleship is around 60 meters tall. This crow is huge. This is a big crow. Got the entire ship, what I said was the case, where it got the entire ship, flew over to his home, and then voila, here they are. And then, like the Getty Cool Brothers, starts to sleeping gas them, making sure that they don't get up. And this is the famed Straw Hat Pirate crew, so of course he would see this as, oh, they're overrated as hell. So this dude is not only a giantist, where that human jib doesn't get him going, number one. Number two, might have some degree of a god complex because he is this fake sun god in his own miniature world, and he's going on and on. And I quote,
Go.
Brilliant. What a chapter. I can't get enough of these weaklings struggling against their fate. Their bitter failure and hollow despair only showcase their humanity. Setbacks and disappointments, that's the core of character development. This folly is comical to watch, but your valiant efforts move me to tears. I'm glad you made your way to me. Luffy Tasso, Zoro Tasso, Nami Tasso, Usopp Tasso, San Tasso, Cho Tasso. He's going on and on and on and on. By the way, apparently Tasso, shout out to my chat, apparently Tasso is a old way, an otaku way of referring to comic book characters. So the way he's viewing this whole dollhouse is essentially his comic book. It's his real life world that he has created, that he's managing through these pet gods and through these quote unquote living dolls, human beings. So he views humans as essentially toys and inferior. So off the gate, we are getting Horty Jones Fishman Island-ish vibes, where we are the fishmen, a superior race. These humans are trash. There should be no reason why we can't claim the surface and so on and so forth. Will it be like that for the entire arc? Probably not. I can see snippets of this here and there, but I don't think the core themes and issues of Elbaf are gonna be the same as Fishman Island. But in terms of character development for this chapter, Road does get quite a bit, because getting more of his mindset. History is being made. This is the beauty of my living dolls. A minimalist world, and it's all mine.
Yeah. He is enacting out his, actually reminds me of an episode of Black Mirror, which is crazy. The USS Callister episode of Black Mirror. I saw it recently because, if you don't know, I watch shows on Patreon, like The Penguin, The Legend of Vox Machina, of course, animes. Like right now we have Bleach, we have Dotadon, we have, of course, One Piece. So if you don't know, even on Patreon, I'm doing stuff too. But the idea is that he is living out some sort of god complex fantasy in his own made-up world, a fake world that includes that Yijiso tree, quote-unquote Yijiso tree. But in reality, probably, compared to other giants, like many otaku, following certain stereotypes, like many otakus in the day-to-day, probably pretty reserved, introverted, probably pessimistic, and so on and so forth. So that's my take on Road right now as a character, which it is good so far, because the idea is that hopefully, coming in this arc, we're gonna see him change and be like more like Hydruden and actually realize, you know what, these humans, now they're on point. Trust, they're on point. Hydruden had the right idea. And also, someone pointed out to me that during the O'Hara flashback on Agate Island, when we see the giants pick up the books, they're all the new generation pirate giants. So it's Hydruden, it's Gerd, and it's Goldberg. Where are they? But who's not there? Road. Is Road so much of an introvert, so much of a recluse, that he didn't have the confidence to go to O'Hara and help with the book carrying? Or is it because he detests humans that much that he chose not to go to O'Hara and help out? Because keep in mind that in giant lifespan, he is pretty young. So let's say if a human can be 100 years old, the giant equivalent should probably be around 300 years. Let's keep it simple, okay? Because let's say Fallbeard and Mountbeard, the oldest warriors in the world, could be more like Koreha, where they are 340 plus years old. That's well beyond the pale for a giant, normally. Road, who is confirmed to be 63 years old, would be around the same age as Zoro and Sanji now. So he's not experienced in many regards, for sure. He has mindsets that so far, I'll argue probably, have not been challenged by the world in any substantive way. And as a person, he just has a long way to go. It is what it is. When you're young, there are so many things you're unaware of, and at the same time, you believe that you control the entire world. You can change the entire planet. Ah, to be young, the springtime of youth, as my guy would say. And we're seeing that in some ways with the growth of the other crew members, not just Luffy, but also with Usopp, with Nami, with Sanji, and Zoro, kind of.
Oh, King!
No. I'm not trying to slam dunk like it's Street Hoops, do a 360 corkscrew. No. I'm not trying to pull any Zion Williamson moves. No. But I don't know what Zoro did in this chapter that was different than, let's say, Zoro as per usual. Okay? I have no idea. Zoro helps destroy the net that's around the Iscat and the entire crew. Okay, cool. What does he do though? He just cuts. Where Sanji went to Ifrit and he burns, maybe even let's say vaporizes the entire metal net in his area. But we see Sanji go to Ifrit because we can see the bolts of lightning, the plasma come from his leg without his Germa powers activated. That's a big deal. Sanji, when he first went Ifrit, what happened? He said that he needed to use his Germa powers so he can actually withstand the temperature of his own ability. Keep in mind that Sanji, if he wanted to, because he just can, has some degree of pyrokinesis and he can raise his temperature. But his body has to be able to withstand that temperature increase. That's the problem. Hence why the Germa physical buffs, not just the exoskeleton, but also just being physically a lot more powerful, that allows him to handle the harsh temperatures of his Ifrit form. But if Sanji can do that in base form, that means that his body is getting physically tougher over the course of time via various means. It probably involves a degree of them all eating Sanji's new Kama Kenpo cooking, and we all know it was said by Zoro when they were going in this lobby on the train, and also said by Shanks before they fought against Kid, the young bucks are growing and they grow exponentially. So Sanji on Egghead Island is weaker compared to Sanji now. Even though it's been like only like a day or two, that Sanji on Egghead Island is a weaker version of Sanji now. It is what it is. That's how it works in One Piece. You may have your qualms about that, but that's how Oda does his power creeping. Over the course of time, it happens up until a certain point in time where the characters say they have either lost power because of old age and health and so on and so forth. And it's also possible too that Sanji's germification is happening even while he's not really activating it on a regular basis. So his powers are affecting his baseline powers too. Just so you can argue that Luffy's physique at base is being altered permanently and upgraded because he awakened his abilities. Remember chapter 1044 where they say when the Nika power user awakens their abilities, they get a much stronger physical body. So Luffy's physical body is at base so powerful to where he can actually do a Gear 4 move in base. That's insane. It's insane. So I can see that growth there distinctly on Sanji and I can see it distinctly on Luffy. Zoro just swings. I just have to assume it because Zoro doesn't say an attack name, wasn't an Ogi, he used one sword, but that's not enough to say, okay, well, that shows substantial growth, unless you can argue, okay, the metal that the metal wire net that Road uses to capture them is a unique metal. Because when Usopp uses a new move, at least I think it's a new move, the lethal version of his Green Star Skull Bomb Grass, which is a much bigger explosion compared to the previous version of it, at least I think, the wall behind the mirror is very, very tough. And during my stream, we were talking about Thor and Mjolnir and what material Mjolnir is made out of. In mythology, as far as I understand, Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, is not unique metal, but it is enchanted in some way. And runes could be a concept that we see in Elbaf. Let's say how Skypiea has dials, there could be some degree of tech manipulation in Elbaf that has its own sort of power fighting system thing, like against Skypiea, maybe. But it could also possibly be a new metal category, a new metal type, giant metal, or what they call in the Marvel Universe, Uru. It could be a unique metal that only exists on Elbaf, and it's much more stronger than normal metal. Let's say even stronger than Wappo metal. And maybe the net was made out of the material, which is why Sanji went Ifrit, and then Zoro did what he did. It could be that. I'm not too sure, but again, I give Zoro the pass here because Sanji and Luffy get the pass, so I'll give it to Zoro too, just by default. And again, Usopp has a new move, so he's gotten better with new plant stuff, I think. And then Nami pulls up a pretty nice move called the Thunderbolt, which is actually, it's crazy, but it's actually the same move that Big Mom did to Judge in chapter 871. Difference being is that Big Mom combines that with her actual physical strength, where she puts Zeus on her hand and slams it down. But then with Nami, she makes the thundercloud over Road, and then she brings it down. And then mind you, Road is probably around the same height as Hydruden, and Hydruden is 22 meters tall, so he's over like 70 feet tall. There's a good chance that he's around the same height as Hydruden, and that's a huge attack that Nami does on top of Road. So ultimately speaking, this chapter, in terms of pace, is pretty simple, which is good. We're not all over the place and we're discombobulated. The simpler it is, for the most part, the better the pace is. And in terms of story, we're finding out how the crew got separated, where Usopp and Luffy and company were on the merry-go, chilling, falling asleep. Apparently, because they came from Agate Island, there was a sleeping mist area, so the area is contaminated entirely by Yeti Cool Brother sleep gas. I don't know, so that's kind of crazy. And then from there, Road continues to have them sleep, and that's how he actually made his living dolls from Luffy and company. And we're also getting that character growth for the Straw Hats too, which is important for sure. So to me, this chapter is better than the last chapter. Obviously, this chapter is like a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, absolutely. But you let me know your stance on this chapter. If you enjoy your boy's video content, make sure to once again give your boy a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click on that bell to join the notification squad. I'm gonna catch you guys and gals on the flip side.
See you. Bye bye.